A retired police officer, a dedicated family man, a church-going grandfather, and a monster who committed 13 murders, 50 rapes, and 120 burglaries while evading capture for over 4 decades. Everyone thought he had vanished into the night. They were wrong. He was hiding in plain sight, wearing a badge. This is No Crime, and this is the story of how science finally caught the Golden State Killer. To understand the end of this story, we must go back to the beginning. 1974, Visalia, California. A quiet community suddenly plagued by a ghost. They called him the Visalia Ransacker. He didn't just steal, he violated. He would scatter women's undergarments around the house. He would eat food from the fridge and leave the empty cartons on the counter. It wasn't about profit, it was about control. 120 break-ins. And then, violence escalated. When a father named Claude Snelling caught the intruder trying to kidnap his daughter, the ransacker shot him dead. And then, he vanished.
2 years later, 300 miles north in Sacramento, a new reign of terror began. The press called him the East Area Rapist. His methods were military in their precision. He would stalk a neighborhood for days. He woke his victims with a flashlight in their eyes. He bound them with shoelaces. He would place dishes on the backs of male victims while he attacked their partners. He told them, "If I hear the dishes rattle, everyone dies." The terror paralyzed the entire city. Gun sales skyrocketed. People slept in shifts. But the police were chasing a ghost. Sketch artists produced dozens of composites. None of them matched the others. He was a chameleon.
1979. The attacks in Sacramento stopped. But in Southern California, a new monster emerged. They called him the original Night Stalker. He no longer left witnesses. He bludgeoned his victims. Couples, doctors, lawyers. 13 murders. And the most chilling part? The phone calls. Years after the attacks, he would call his surviving victims. He would whisper, "Gonna kill you," just to let them know he was still out there, watching. And then, in 1986, silence. The attacks stopped. The monster simply walked away.
Decades passed.
Police departments in different counties didn't realize they were hunting the same man. The ransacker, the rapist, the killer. They were treated as 3 separate files, until 2001. DNA technology had finally caught up. Investigators tested evidence from the different crime scenes. The result was a bombshell. It was the same DNA. The 3 separate files merged into one massive box. One man, one predator who had terrorized the entire state of California. But knowing it was one man didn't give them a name. His DNA wasn't in any criminal database. He was a ghost with a genetic profile.
The case went cold.
Until a true crime writer named Michelle McNamara became obsessed. She gave the monster a new name, the Golden State Killer. Her book reignited public interest, but she tragically passed away before the case was solved. But she had asked the right question. If traditional detective work can't find him, what can? Enter Paul Holes, a Contra Costa County investigator who had one last idea, a Hail Mary pass. He didn't look at criminal databases. He looked at genealogy websites. The theory was simple. The killer hadn't uploaded his DNA, but maybe a distant relative had. They uploaded the crime scene DNA to GED Match. The result wasn't a name. It was a mess. They found distant cousins, third cousins, fourth cousins, people who shared a great-great-great-grandfather with the killer. A team, led by genetic genealogist Barbara Ray Venter, had to build a family tree from scratch. They identified over 25,000 people. They had to prune the tree. They looked for men of the right age, men who lived in Visalia, then Sacramento, then Southern California. Branch by branch, they cut it down until one name remained: Joseph James DeAngelo, a former police officer. It made perfect sense. He knew police tactics. He knew how to avoid fingerprints. But they needed proof. April 2018. Police surveilled DeAngelo's home in the suburbs. He was 72 years old. They couldn't just ask him for a sample. They waited for him to make a mistake. He went to a Hobby Lobby. When he came out, he wiped his car door handle with a tissue, but he missed a spot. Or perhaps they grabbed a piece of trash he discarded. The lab results came back. It was him. When they arrested him, he was cooking a roast. He asked, "Is the roast in the oven?" Just a grandfather concerned about dinner. But in the interrogation room, the mask slipped. He muttered to himself about Jerry. An inner personality, he claimed, forced him to do it. In court, he acted feeble. He was wheeled in. But the victims weren't fooled. They stood up and faced the monster who had haunted their nightmares. He pleaded guilty to avoid the death penalty, sentenced to life without parole. The Golden State Killer would die in a cage. This case reminds us that while justice can be delayed, science ensures it is never truly denied. But Joseph DeAngelo isn't the only monster hiding in a family tree. I'm here to help you know how they were caught. Subscribe for more cases where science and persistence brought killers to justice. See you at the next case file.